What in the world is going on? How is Pete Alonso not a New York Met? What is I can't deal with this team anymore. I can't do this. I'm tired of it. What is happening? We're supposed to have all this money, and we're letting Edwin Diaz go to a team that you directly compete with. You're letting Pete Alonso go on a contract that was so doable. I don't care that it's $31 million a year. 5 years, $155 million to the Orioles. Why were the Mets not interested in that contract? Kyle Schwarber just got the same thing. Like, I don't understand. Again, we're doing raw reactions because apparently the Mets, while we get Juan Soto, amazing, great. We have Francisco Lindor, but we don't want any of the other good players that we had. I don't know how they don't. I don't really know what's going on. I don't know what the plan is. I have no clue what is happening. What is happening with this organization? Why are we being such a joke right now? We have no first baseman. We have Devin Williams as our closer, who was horrible last year. Oh my God! How is Pete Alonso going to the Orioles? How is that even possible? Like, great, amazing for the Orioles, and I'm sorry if you're an Orioles fan and you're expecting me to talk in depth about them. That will probably be later in this video. Again, I'm doing a no edit live reaction. You guys really enjoyed the Edwin Diaz one yesterday. Oh, okay. So we're getting more info from Jeff Passan. He winds up with $185 million, including his $30 million salary last year. Gives him the highest AAV ever for a third baseman. I'm so confused on what is going on. Like, how in the world is Pete Alonso? How did the Mets not bring Pete Alonso back? Like, you could make the argument they didn't win with him, but I don't think it was Pete Alonso's fault. And save me the bullshit, David Stearns, about the first base defense. I know Pete was horrible there, but there's not many players in baseball that hit like Pete Alonso. I'm embarrassed to be a Mets fan more than I normally am, because being a Mets fan is utter hell. It is hell on earth. It is terrible being a Mets fan. Shame on me. Shame on me for thinking anything would have been different. Shame on me for believing that Juan Soto signaled that the Mets don't care about money anymore, that the Mets are different, that the Mets are back. Nope. Shame on me. Shame on me for believing in this team ever. I'm a beaten man. I'm a broken man right now. Oh, Pete's an Oriole? How does this happen? How does this happen? Steve Cohen just got outbid by the Orioles. And for Steve Cohen, oh my God, everyone was crediting Steve Cohen for the reason why Juan Soto signed, right? It wasn't David Stearns' fault. And now that we're missing out on all these free agents, are we going to blame Steve Cohen? I don't even know what to do. I have no idea what to do. This is a horrible video. This is a terrible video because we're like 3 minutes in, and I've said nothing besides, oh my God, I can't believe this is, I gotta take a deep breath. Embarrassing. They better go out and get Kyle Tucker. Is that what this is? Are you going to tell me that we're getting Kyle Tucker? Because how in the world do we not, fit-wise, I don't understand how you don't bring back Pete Alonso. He's one of the 5 best first basemen arguably in baseball. Maybe you could say 6th or 7th, but 30-plus home runs a year, almost 40 home runs a year, 100-plus RBIs, 800, 900 OPS is right around there. He was so good last year. He's meant so much to this organization. I mean, are we clearing the books so that we can build the casino out in Flushing? Is that what's happening? Do we not want to spend the money on these guys because are we trying to reset the luxury tax? Again, I really don't know what's going on. And again, I'm not trying to be one of those Mets fans who's crying and complaining because we got Juan Soto, we got Francisco Lindor. But the idea is that, and the complaints behind this is that it felt like we were just going to get the players that we want. We want Pete Alonso, he's on the Mets. We wanted Juan Soto, we got him. We have Francisco Lindor, we got him. That was kind of the feeling with this Mets organization. Even though there's been no winning in the Steve Cohen era, haven't really even come close. I figured that Pete Alonso would be back. He's a fan favorite. He's really good. We have nobody to play first base. I can't stress enough. We have nobody to play first base. Like Mark Vientos, is that what we're going to be rolling? Are we going to be doing a platoon with Mark Vientos at first base? No way. They got rid of Pete Alonso this offseason. They got rid of Brandon Nimmo. They got rid of Edwin Diaz. Who's next? I mean, McNeil's on his way out too. What in the fuck is What is happening, guys? Are we rebuilding? Is this what's going on? Is this a weird rebuild, retool? We have all these prospects. Are we going to trade them for pitching? Like, where's this money going to be reinvested? That's what I want to know, is where is this money going to be reinvested? Because if you tell me right now that the lineup that we have is the team that we're going to have in 2026, the season's over. They're not making the playoffs. Like, Juan Soto and Lindor are great. The rest of the team has a bunch of holes pretty much at almost every position. The starting pitching, I like Nolan McLean, I like some of the young guys, but it's not good. The bullpen's not good. What are we doing? How are we going to fill the mate? Oh my God, what is going on? Please tell me there's something that I'm missing. Please tell me there's something I'm missing. Again, Pete Alonso's contract, it's crazy. Good for him. As a non-Mets, take my Mets fan hat off. Happy for him. Happy he got paid $5 for 155, and I think it could go up to 185, apparently, they're saying. That's huge for Pete Alonso. Get your money, get your bag, and I really do wish him well in Baltimore. Because unlike the Edwin Diaz stuff, where we now got news where it seemed like Edwin Diaz really didn't want to come back to being a Met, and seemed like he was upset about how the Mets handled signing Devin Williams and didn't tell him. I don't know. Weird stuff. Edwin Diaz just seems like he didn't want to come back. That's different. Pete Alonso, I think, had all the signs of wanting to come back and being a Met. It's just the Mets didn't really want him back on his terms, and while I never thought he was going to get 7 years, 5 years, 155, I don't care, man. Again, it's the same thing that Andrew Freeman has said over and over again. If we start trying to worry about extra years on these free agents, you end up never signing anybody. You never end up making a move, and it feels like right now the Mets are doing that. Like the moves the Mets have made this offseason, we've brought in Marcus Semien, and we've got Devin Williams. You can't convince me. You can't convince the fan base. I don't think you can convince anybody in baseball that the Mets are better right now with the moves that they've made than they were last year, and they missed the playoffs last year. Oh my God, how is this happening? Again, sorry I keep looking down. I'm checking my phone. I'm just here's how I feel better. You go get Kyle Tucker. We trade for Tarek Skubal. We trade for Freddie Peralta. Like, is that what this is? Is this a signaling that the old Mets, anybody who has any sort of Will Pond stink on you, is gone? We don't want those guys. Those guys are part of the old New York Mets. Now this team is Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, maybe some of the young guys. Is that what's happening? Are we trying to get rid of all the stink from the previous regime? Because that's the only way I can see this making even even just a little bit of sense. It's the only way. Because if we're just talking about building a really good baseball team, building a team that can be successful, building a team that can reach the playoffs, I don't know how losing Edwin Diaz, losing Pete Alonso, trading Brandon Nimmo for Marcus Semien ever makes this team better right now. Like, I thought the whole Nimmo trade kind of signaled that maybe we would be more in on Pete, and now that we didn't get Edwin, maybe we'd be more in on Pete. I can't believe this. This is the first time in a very, very, very long time, first time under the Steve Cohen era, where I can truly say I have zero faith right now. I have no idea. I can't see the plan. I don't know where it's going. Hopefully I'm just an idiot. Hopefully I'm thinking too much with my heart right now rather than my head, and hopefully the signs and the signals, they all become clear soon. But, like, it has to be Kyle Tucker. It has to be making a huge trade. Who's going to play first base? Who's going to be in this bullpen? Who's going to be in the outfield? Where does the money go? Because if they don't make any moves to improve this team's going to win like 80 games again. I don't know how they're better than they are last year. Oh my God. This one is truly more shocking than Edwin Diaz, because I thought Pete Alonso would still always end up as a New York Met. And again, I apologize for Orioles fans. Here's the Spark Notes. Amazing. Love it. That's a huge move. That's great. Get Pete Alonso. I'm happy for you guys. As a Mets fan, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This is shocking to me. This is truly shocking. I thought Pete would have ended up as a Met. I thought he was going to sign in January again for a shorter-term deal because apparently his market wasn't moving. But the Orioles got aggressive, got their guy. Oh, my God. I want to crash out so badly, but I'm nearly 30 years old, and I think the hat spike, in retrospect, was a little much. I think that was a little bit – that was a little cringe. That was a little cringe. We can say that. But as someone who has been a Mets fan his entire life, we'll go like 27 years, because honestly, like when I'm 1 year old, you don't really remember. For 27 years, I can really be a Mets fan. This sucks. This is crazy. The roller coaster that this team has given me over the last year and a half is insane. Like the peak of 2024, Cinderella run. How did we get there? What we were doing was crazy, and then we lose. Okay, still fun season, OMG. Then we sign Juan Soto. Incredible. Then we stink. Then we stink so bad after having an incredible start to the season. A horrible second half. And then we don't get Edwin Diaz, and we don't get Pete Alonso, and we trade Brandon Nimmo. And again, for the first time, I don't see David Stearns' plan unless it's Kyle Tucker and trading for a front end pitcher and spending some more money on. Maybe they go after. Is it they're going to go after Alex Bregman? I don't think Alex Bregman's better than Pete Alonso in this build of the New York Mets. I think Pete Alonso means more to this lineup than Bregman would, even though Bregman's probably a better player. What is happening? What is happening? I apologize to Orioles fans. I apologize to you guys because I really do hate making these videos. I prefer being a little more analytical and talking more ball rather than just 8-9 minutes of me screaming and yelling and cursing and doing all that stuff. But there's no other way to react to it. If you want to check out a more sane take, make sure you are subscribed to Mets Up in the Windup. I'll leave a link in the description. Otherwise, like I'm upset. I'm really hurt by this one. Pete was one of my favorite Mets players, and this is a tough pill to swallow. I think Mets fans have every right to be mad. I'm mad. There's not a single ounce bone, muscle, flesh in my body that feels anything but awful right now. And it's probably like a little bit spoiled brat attitude because, again, Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto, whatever, rich owner. But to see this kind of stuff is not something I expected to see. We got outbid by the Orioles. We got outbid by the Dodgers. Dodgers spend money, but the Orioles, I mean, you got outbid by the Orioles. It's crazy. Seems like the Mets were possibly never even in on Pete Alonso based on what just happened. So, David Stearns, you got a lot of explaining to do, David Stearns. You got a lot of explaining to do. Steve Cohen, speak to the fucking media, man. What do you got for us? Tell me something, because the only thing I've heard from you is the casino. And honestly, I like the casino, but this doesn't do shit for my New York Mets. I'm done. I don't want to talk about this anymore. See ya. Fuck!